Thank you, Miss Lala.
Right.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you for coming back to episode 2. That is number 2.
All right, we're going to stop him there.
Why?
Hey, guys. Welcome to coming back to episode...
No, we're going to stop him here. Hey, guys. Welcome back to...
You're being interviewed. Right?
I know, okay.
This is episode 2.
So, guys, if you're seeing Mao in my seat, it's because this episode... I'm sorry, look that way. This episode, I'm being interviewed. I'm the interviewee, and Mao's the host. So, he's going to be interviewing my story and everything. I know this is a podcast. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, Mao is going to be the co-host. So if you see him in other episodes, you know why. He's not doing it for free. He's taking all my money out of my pocket.
Nice.
So at work, I got to get a raise.
Yeah.
It's very expensive to have. No, but yes, today's episode is Jared Longoria.
Well, I don't need to make an introduction anymore.
I already did it.
I was thinking of making an introduction. But yes, today we are going to be interviewing Jared. He started the podcast. This was his idea.
Yes, sir.
So just so the viewers, whoever does view, whoever keeps coming back,
please come back. Please come back.
add that to the counter.
Ding.
Whoever does come back could know who we are, or who's hosting, who's interviewing, right? Who's interviewing the people. So we're gonna get started. Mr. J Long.
Yes, sir. Now cue it. This is Renewal Podcast.
Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah.
I'm looking back at this if it didn't come out.
Okay, no. All right. If y'all saw the segment, I figured it out, and it's up. If y'all didn't, I didn't figure it out. It's gonna be in the next episode. I don't think so either.
So we're gonna get started. Very
going.
simple. Introduce yourself.
Well, guys,
tell us a little bit about yourself.
if you don't know me by now, I don't know why you don't. No, I'm kidding. I am Mr. Jared Longoria. 22 years old. I am currently a tech at a university. The only
Sounds
university
very
in Laredo.
professional if you put it that way.
Texas
it sounds very
A&M
professional.
International University. Yeah, I'm a tech there. I would say my hobbies, I love just being out, being athletic. So it'd be basketball, CrossFit now. Like I said in the other episode, Mao and the guys got me into CrossFit. Work out on that every day. Track, was a former track athlete. Love track too. Pretty much anything athletic wise, anything with a ball. I'm like a dog. I like playing. I was going to say with a ball. Yeah, let's not say that. But yeah, so that's kind of my hobby. Love Jesus. Jesus saved my life, I always say. So yeah, I don't know. That's my little introduction.
All right. That's good. So, I've known you, right? And now I understand you have a passion for Christ. You chase Christ.
Sir.
But I want to know, let's rewind it back a little bit.
Okay.
Let's rewind it back a little bit to before, because you've told me that you used to go to church.
Oh, yeah.
And then life was very different
Mhm.
post that. And then you recently came back, right? So take us back as personal as you want to get. Maybe you don't want to get too personal. Maybe you don't want to share too much.
Yeah.
That's what makes podcasts good. But
Drop it all.
just drop it.
Everyone's like, drop it. Say it all.
So yeah, take us a little bit back to where you left.
Okay. So to backtrack that, what you were asking me, I was in the church growing up. My family is Christian. We grew up Christians. My mom and dad are believers. To kind of backtrack it, my dad started off as Catholic. And then when he met my mom, she was Christian. And one thing my dad has told us, because he was at a point where he didn't believe in God. And he tells my mom, like, one day God felt like, just convicting him a little bit, talking to him. And he was saying, one day when my kids asked me, who's God, Dad? He wanted to be like, oh my gosh, like, what am I going to tell my kids, What am I going to tell them I believe in or what I believe in? So that's where my dad started that. And my mom would pray about it a lot. Well, they ended up going to Grace Bible Church when I was younger. And I think it was before I was born. So my older sister, because I have 2 sisters, both older than me. My oldest sister.
You're the little.
I'm the baby. I'm the baby.
Still
of the
is?
family. Still. Still a baby. You know, my
Okay.
mom treats me like the baby, and because, can I say, I'm the favorite child. So, Brianna, Brittany, if you're watching this, I'm the favorite child. Everyone knows it.
I believe
No,
it.
no,
I
there's no,
believe it.
there's no favorites in my family.
No, he says that a lot, Brie.
But yeah, so they ended up going to Grace. So we grew up as that. So as far as I remember being little, growing up, God was always in the picture. My dad, at a young age, as far as I remember, he would always sit us down and read this. He had this children's book, and it was like with like all these colorful things. It was like a night light, like a little light bug, not night light, little light bug. And you would find it in the book. So I remember he would tell us like stories like David Goliath, Noah's Ark. So that's why I love the Old Testament, because it reminds me of my childhood. And he would share these stories, and we'd have to find that little bug in the book. And me and Brianna would be like, "Oh my gosh, you found the bug! You found the bug!" And I remember that like vividly. Like that was what I grew up remembering. So God was definitely in my household. I wasn't like some other testimonies, how people were like, "Oh, I never knew who Christ was," and then they came back. No, I started off with the church as a believer. I would say, what would I say?
So, you went to church, right? How old were you?
I mean, I'm gonna remember at 5 years old, because I
Okay.
know we could say I know I was younger, but I remember like being in the church starting at 5. That's where I remember everything.
At what age did you kind of just stop going?
So that transition happened.
That's
when,
not what I asked.
Oh, what do you mean? Stop going?
No.
I was like,
No, like what age? What age? Were you?
12.
12.
I would say 12.
Okay, so from 5 to 12,
Mhm.
you. Okay.
So like 7 years.
Sounds good.
Doing the math.
Sounds good. So at the age of 12,
Mhm.
where was your mind? What happened? What led you to what?
Like when I left.
Yeah.
Okay. So there was just a couple issues with the church. My family stopped going. That led it to where I also, at a very young age, I was shy. Not a lot of people. Now everybody's like, "There's no way this guy's shy," right? But
Oh yeah.
even from being a little kid, I would always hide behind my dad.
If you guys want more of Jared's childhood, tune in next episode. I am sure they'll have the stories for you.
But I was, yes, the shy kid. So I could never go anywhere without my parents, basically. So as soon as they left the church, I stopped going to church. My parents were very like on my sisters and them, like, continue going to church. This is something that happened between me and my dad. Well, I'm talking from my mom's point of view. Happened to them. So she was like, keep going, keep going. My 2 older sisters did end up continue going to church.
Yeah.
Of course, me being the way I was and everything, shy and all anxious and everything, I ended up not continuing. So I would say at that point, God was really close. I had a little thing happen in my life where, because I do suffer from severe anxiety and social anxiety, I do take, I'm supposed to take medication for it, because I know we all could be like, "Oh, we all go through anxiety." We all do. Mine's a little bit stronger than, I would say, some people. So that happened early in my life when I was around 10, I would say. A lot of things changed where even at public school, I know a couple of old friends still remember I was that kid crying and everything. So I was very to myself, and I was scared and just felt lonely at that time. And, my mom got to the point where she was like, "I don't know what to do anymore." She was thinking about homeschooling me. And I'm trying to talk about, like, I'm putting it all the way over here to the story so you could see that age I knew God, because I went to a Christian school. So from there, a lot of stuff happened. My mom was looking for a homeschool or anything, and she found this Christian private school. She put me in there, and I would say I was there from middle school to high school. So 12 to, because I graduated at 16, God was there still. Like, I was on fire for God because of that school, because a couple of my principal, I call her my second mom.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out her. She saved my life too. Well, God brought her to help her save my life. And so right there, knew God.
So
continued with God.
What do you stand on that lets you say, like, I knew, how do you think to yourself, like, yeah, I knew God? Or were you younger and you were like, no, I grew up with this. I must know him, right?
Yeah. Man, I think
Like, what do you stand on that
I think
lets
you-
you know?
I think you said it like for when I was younger.
Yeah.
Okay, when I was younger, I think you said it best. That second one, it was just I was hearing God so much when I was younger, and I was like, oh, I know God, I know who He is, and seeing my parents be talking about Him all the time, praying every day, going to church. I was like, I know Him, I know God, I know who God
because
is.
I had kind of
Uh-huh.
like the same experience where my parents grew up, right? Or my mom grew up in the church when I was 8. That's 8 or 9. She started going. Would I look back at myself and say, that kid right there was saved. He knew what the heck he was talking about. And I've told you this before.
Yeah.
I don't think I would.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know God to the extent. Like, I didn't know the gospel to that extent. I didn't know Jesus to that extent. I knew that, hey, you know what? God created the world. Yada, yada, yada. What you tell a surface level, right?
Yeah.
But to really understand Jesus and to understand, like, what He did, if I were to look at myself and say, or my younger self, if I was to look at that kid that walked into church and, you know, was gathered around Christians and all that, and say, that guy, you know, that guy knew the gospel, that guy really believed, or was I just going because my mom went? There came a time where I took it upon myself. I was like, you know what? I want to chase this. I want to know more. I want to really know God. But I know that there was a time where I was going because I was just going, right? And that, like, how do you differentiate? Where do you think the difference came in your life, whether that be now or when you were younger? Where do you think the difference came in?
I mean, I agree. It's funny how we're similar with that, because I do agree what you said. Going back, looking at it when I was younger, I definitely just knew that foundation level. Now that I say, like, now that I'm on fire with Christ now, there's things that I open the Bible about. I'm like, wow, I never knew this.
Yeah.
And I grew up with it, right? But I only knew it because, again, I wouldn't say I was like fully saved, because I was just knowing God.
Yeah.
And I just knew that level right there, that surface level of Him. Knew just that fundamental, oh, Jesus came, died here. Those stories that my dad would always share. So it wasn't me seeking it, because I felt like I was already, oh, I know Him, I have Him, and I don't need to seek more. Right? I don't know why my mind was just like that when I was younger. So that definitely is what I can agree with how you said. I was looking back at that kid, like, definitely thank God now that He's brought me here, because I feel truly saved now than when I was that younger self.
Because you do get a lot of Christians or people that fall out of the faith, walk away from the faith, or, you know, that give their salvation back. That stuff. You do get a lot of them, and they grew up in church. They know God, but they never really built that connection. They never really seeked.
That's how I was when I was younger.
And then you get a lot of people say, like, "Oh, well, you could lose your salvation because I grew up in the church. I grew up in the church. I walked away. Well, did you really know God? You know." So that's what I was trying to get to. Like how does you back then differ from you now? So, right, we'll get to the in between. But you back then to your, because I've seen your spiritual growth. I've seen your maturity.
For sure.
I've seen who you are. So what's the difference between that kid that was like David and Goliath on the bus to, hey, you know what, Mal, what does this mean?
Definitely, I could just tell you straight up, this guy now, the young man that I am, is saved and truly has salvation. That kid, that old self, definitely just knew God. Again, I always like saying fan of Jesus, and there's a difference between fan of Jesus and follower of Jesus. Definitely was a fan when I was younger. Knew everything about him and everything, but I had no intimate relationship with him.
Right.
And I can say now I wasn't truly saved. I was just proclaiming that I was, and I knew God and everything. But now that I'm here, I look back at that kid, I'm like, holy, I wasn't saved. Because again, things that happened in my life, if I was truly saved, if I had that salvation now, I know that wouldn't have happened, you know?
Yeah.
And so I can definitely agree that there is some Christians that are like that say, oh man, well, I'm saved because I know Him. Again, are you a fan of Jesus or are you a follower? And you really need to evaluate that, because if you're over there, like we said on the other episode, if you're over here saying, you know Jesus, then Monday through Saturday, you're going out partying and you're doing things of the world, like I know a lot of people do, and you do too.
Yeah.
I mean, are you truly saved? Because you're not devoted to Christ. You know, there's a topic that well, not a topic, but it's when you're saved, you start the sanctification process, right?
Yeah.
From your salvation. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if God is truly in you, you're not going to be wanting to go to a party. You're not going to be wanting to drink. You're not going to be wanting to do drugs.
Yeah, that's what I was going to add. Like,
yeah.
there's a difference between stumbling and there's a difference between wanting it. Like,
big difference.
Like, your flesh obviously wants it, right? But there's a difference between, like, I'm gonna purposely, you know, go out there and that this is what I want to chase. I'm going to chase it. Why? Because there's no not condemnation. There's no, like, I don't feel guilty.
Yeah.
There's no conviction.
Yeah.
There's no conviction, right? So there's a difference. So,
but it's funny. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Go for it.
But it's funny because the people that I grew up in that church when I was younger, I'm not gonna name any names or anything, but there's a couple of people. I start name dropping.
Do it. Nah, I'm just kidding.
We'll blur this out. Just naming. No, there's people I definitely knew that I grew up with, and seeing how they are now, I can say, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, they're not with Jesus right now. Yeah. And I could say and when we're little, we're all about him, you know, that. But again, we weren't truly saved. We just knew who he was because our families were so devoted into it. They had it, you know, my parents did, they have it, you know, because you can see the way their life and their walk is. But again, I know it's not harder, but when you tell your kids, being a kid growing up, you know, you hear your parents constantly on it, and this is what you hear all the time. And this is like, okay, this is what we do in our household. Yeah. It makes you feel that you are, but. Yeah.
And you know what? I am 100% for that. I'm 100% for, you know, having that household, and you should have that household as a spiritual leader. But there's gonna come a point where those kids that are getting up in life, they're gonna choose.
Oh yeah,
they're gonna choose.
I feel like we all go through that point,
and they're gonna choose, and
some of us.
That's where you really start to notice, like I can know all these things. Mm-hmm. You could see a chef, right? Yeah. You could see a chef, and you could look at his menu. I know the menu. Yeah. But you've never tasted it. You've never tasted anything. You've never tasted anything in that menu. It's like, how do I know? Like, how can I say I know the chef if, like, all I know is his menu? Exactly. Like,
fan of Jesus, follower of Jesus.
Yeah. So and there's gonna come a point where you choose. Yeah. Right. Everybody in their life, as they get older, even living in a Christian household, comes in a time where, like, you know what, I choose Jesus. I choose the world. Yeah. Right.
And it is hard because we're living in this world.
Yeah.
That's the biggest reason why. Because some people could be like, oh, why does that happen? But it's the fact that we live in this world. The fact that constantly, like how we said in the other episode, being a Christian doesn't make it any easier. Yeah. You know, now that you have the Holy Spirit with you that's convicting in you, you know, seeing all the things that are wrong in this world, you know, having the flesh too, it's a battle. And that flesh wants you to do this, but then you know this is wrong because you're like, I'm before God, I'm with God. So you're always constantly going back and forth. And that's how I feel even to this day, because I had that. Mm-hmm. You know, I was of this world for a while, and then now seeing how I just want everything to do with Christ. You know, I said, like, you know, my journey is kind of still new. I mean, 7 months, and I say 7 months ago I wanted nothing to do with him. Yeah. And now 7 months here, I want everything to do with him. Yeah. So I definitely feel that's why. And even to this day, I can say that, you know, I feel those feelings of the world still. You know, I feel it's not any easier, but it's a lot better to get over with and all that, because the fact that I can run to Jesus Christ, the fact that I can run to God. So, I mean, that's the point I was trying to say, is that, you know, we will run to the world because we live here, you know, everything's so easy to go. And especially the friends that I had and everything, you know, the influences you have, it's hard. It's hard to definitely try to get yourself away from that and really focus on being devoted to Jesus Christ. But it's definitely worth it because you have eternal life forever. Amen to that.
Amen. All right. So then they've gotten a little sneak of Jared in the past. They've gotten a little sneak of Jared right now. They saw him last episode.
Sorry if it was kind of lower though.
So, and there is people. Every time you talk about people that you know, right? Because there's people that you knew that are watching. There's people that I knew that are watching.
Oh yeah.
Right. And in scripture, when Jesus returns to Nazareth, they deny him, right? And I'm gonna very butcher it, but the point is that the prophets will always be denied in their hometown, right? Why? Because they knew that person before Christ. They knew that person before what they are now, right?
Yeah.
So they're always stuck on that person. Like, I'm sure, like, people that are stuck on your old person, and it's like, well, that's not who I am now, right? So where were you in between the ages of 12 to 21?
Ooh.
How was your life? How were you mentally?
Mm-hmm.
How were you spiritually?
Yeah.
And where were you, like, through all this? Like, why did you run to the things you ran to?
Yeah. So 12 to 16, I mean, I was in that Christian school and I had that fire for Christ. Again, from that early age, he did save my life. He always saved our life, even when you didn't want him.
Yeah.
Growing up with that anxiety, I was always crying. I was always in a horrible mood. It was hard for me to even go to school. I didn't want to go to school at all. But like I said, my two teachers, shout out to them, Miss Morales and Miss Ramos. They were my mom's. Miss Ramos. Sorry. Never say it Mexican.
No, it's okay. They're white.
And they definitely helped me. God sent these amazing, wonderful women to be here in my life when my mom had to go to work. Because I wanted to be just with my mom and my dad. Like, I was just so scared. And my mind at that time was, I definitely feel like at an early age, I could say maybe somewhat of a spiritual warfare, because I just felt so scared. And the only thing that could help me was praying to God and constantly in prayer. Because at an early age, I had this depression, and at a young age, like, at 10 and all that, 10 to 12, we're supposed to be liking John Cena and Rey Mysterio and wrestling. Shout out them, But
yeah, shout out Duty.
Yeah, shout out Duty, John Cena. That's why, like, that's all you would talk about, we would just being kids growing up. And I felt like I wasn't, like, I was this, normal kid. And then boom, it hit where all of a sudden I remember telling my mom, I didn't want to be here anymore. A 10-year-old kid telling their mom that, like, that's a lot. And my mom definitely, as a parent, you don't want to ever hear that from your child. So she was like, I need to do something. And that's where my faith grew more at that time. Felt like I was just alone. I felt like I didn't want to be here. And, these wonderful ladies came and they took the time, the patience. They would pray for me. Thank you, like, for going to a private Christian school where they could take the time to pray for me, because I know sometimes that in public school, you can't do that. Teachers can't do that. And they took the time to do it. I wouldn't go to class. Sometimes I would go to their office and I would just stay there. And they would be like, as long as you need to be here, like, you'll be here. And it helped so much. And that to sum it up, that, like, grew my faith more.
That's crazy. That's crazy. And I don't put it into perspective because some people don't live it, right? But to you, it was like, that's where I need to run to. Like, right there, while you were at that age, I want to go to their office. I want to go there. And, like, they really did, like, help you refrain from those thoughts,
it helps so much. And
that's crazy.
Like, I tell some people too, especially when they're going now, like, spiritual warfare, it is a real thing, or just your mind that plays tough on you, because mine is hard. And I always constantly tell them, like, no matter what, you just got to keep praying and you got to keep having faith in Jesus Christ, right? Because at the time, that's the only thing that helped was the prayer, because I didn't know anything else that could help. There's nothing that I could run to. Let's say at an early age, I ran to other things, right? Drinking, drugs, or whatever. I mean, it would only help a certain amount, like, only for a little bit. And then it would just be again. And even that, like, I stopped. I was this active kid, always playing sports. I no longer played sports. Ding. Sports. I couldn't do it anymore. I stopped being physically active, just being at home. I would just get home and just be scared all the time and just be in my room. Like, those were the moments. And it's funny, at the early age, like, I'm seeing all these kids at a young age running around, having fun with their friends. And I'm just this kid in my room, scared, crying, just wanting to be with my parents. That right there at an early age impacted me a lot to the person I would say I am today. it was hard. Looking back at it, I try not to think of it so much because it was really hard. Just being in my own thoughts. I was really in my mind at that time. And so I would say around there, at the same time, God was there. He's great. It brought me more to him. It led me more to be like, God is real. Like, I'm here because of God. God saved my life. And I was hungry for him.
Okay.
That spark started for him. And
this is all news to me. I've heard bits and pieces of the story, but see, now I'm as confused as you guys. Where did you get to the middle?
What do you mean the middle?
Like, so when we first met you, when we first met you, you were a different guy. You were a different guy, right? So hearing your story that like you were on fire with God, like, how'd you get there?
Where do we go from here? Yes, like Mao and the group met me when I was lost. Like how I said, I wanted nothing to do with God. So all of a sudden, how I was here younger,
you were on fire.
I was on fire. It started because I knew he was real, and that's how it is. And I'll sum it up not real quick, but to say it how it was because God, that fire, I was upset at God. When I was angry at God, that's where I led to all this.
So during that chase.
So during that chase, I got upset with God. And again, that's my fault. Okay. Nothing with God. That was on me. Again, how on the other episode, Mao pointed out, we always point the whys and we always point why this and we're pointing to God. We never take it to us. I don't know why I'm looking over here when the camera's over here. So we always point and we always say why. But truly, it's us. It was me. I was upset with God. And
you know that now.
Oh, yeah, I know that now. At the time, you could tell me, I'd be like, no, it's God's fault. It's God's fault. Blaming him. So, yes, at that age, that's where the fire was. And, yeah, I'm telling you, I didn't go to parties. I didn't drink. I've never done drugs. I was focused on the great things of this world, of truly feeling God. I was like, wow, there's more to life than all these things that are these kids my age that are doing. I had friends outside going to public school and I would see them and I'd be like, no, like it was even to the point where I would never listen to any other like hip hop, Drake and all that. Didn't even know who he was. Like it was just Christian music, Christian rappers like Lecrae, Trip Lee, Andy. I can go off, bro. I can go off. Those guys, that's how I was. Like my first rap was Christian rap.
Okay.
So again, that's how I was. I was just really devoted to Christ. And I was like, there's something bigger for me. Yeah. And that's where I would say at 15, that's when I got back to being athletic, doing sports. I remember telling my dad I want to do basketball again. And he was like, what? Like, no way, really? And I was like, yeah. So, of course, all these kids were ahead of me in high school with my friends and all that. So he had to put like 3 years that I missed in middle school into high school. And we were just constantly training. And that's how, I found my being with sports again. I just felt my purpose, again, God really, I felt great with him. And so I would say then after high school, it all plummeted. That's where 16 till I hit 21, y'all met me. It was just of this world, world. And that's where we can go now into.
But why?
So that reason, I would say that's where the anger started going. I'm not going to dog on my relationships. They were ungodly though.
Okay.
And I felt like I was running to them instead of God.
Okay.
For my needs, my wants. It was going to them. It
happens a lot where you get comfortable in relationships, right?
Even when you think that you're like, this person loves me.
You get comfortable. And in comfort, it's very easy to feel like you don't need God.
Yeah.
And you get into that area where like, man, this person's awesome. Like, I'm comfortable. I get affection. I get attention. I get this and this and that.
What else more do I want?
What do I want, right? And then when the time comes where you're like, you gotta praise God even on your good days. It's like, well, you know what? That I'll save it a little later.
Yeah.
Right. I'll save it a little
I'll save it
later.
for when I need it.
Yes, and people do stick with that mindset, and you do get comfortable there.
Yes.
So you were saying your relationships were ungodly,
Yeah.
right?
I'm-
You would run to them,
Yeah,
not
I
dogging
don't-
on them,
Yeah, I'm
not
not
dogging
dogging
on
on
them,
them. Good people. Even if
not
they
dogging on them.
did things that I feel like shouldn't, still.
Hey.
Love them as a human being. They're good
Love
people.
them though.
Love them though. They're good people. But I was definitely running to those. They were also going out. They were in high school, so public school. They would go Alexander United, you know. So I would be around their friends and seeing what they were doing. You know, of course, they're ungodly relationships. So I started seeing, okay, this is nice, you know.
Dang. So all this because of a woman.
Yeah. I know. God, it should have been Adam and Steve. No, I'm kidding.
Okay. So
No, it wasn't. It was.
it was seeing the
that's-
lifestyle,
Yes.
being mad at God, and then seeing
I
the
think
lifestyle.
also growing up being Christian and your parents telling you, no, don't do this and that, right?
Yeah.
Like these are the ways. Finally, when you get to there
Yeah.
and it finally comes to you and you've never like tasted any of that party or anything before, you're finally like, okay, like you.
I feel like it's easier because there was scenarios on my life too,
Mhm.
but I feel like it's easier when you're with somebody like that because
Yes.
it's like,
I got to do it for them.
you-
All right. I'm doing
yeah,
it for them.
like, you know, I'm here to just
Please-
accompany
yeah,
them,
and please them.
please them,
Yeah.
but then you get sucked into it.
Ding. No, and that's what it was. It was I was getting sucked into it.
Yeah.
Again, like you said it. I was trying to please them, and I was trying to just.
You said that.
Oh, I said that. Oh, I did say that. And I did get sucked in. That's where it all started happening. I started getting into working out again. Again, if you can't tell, this skinny guy. I'm like,
Oh, you used to be skinnier. You used to be a lot
I
skinnier.
was a lot skinnier. I stopped for like.
How
1
were
year.
you?
I was just this skinny kid. I'm still skinny. I'm not saying I'm bigger. I'm a lot bigger than what I am now. Shout out Mao. Shout out Duty. Shout out Mao him. No, but I definitely was like, oh, I need to work out. You know, I need to hit the weights. Never hit the weights. You know,
Yeah.
my dad was like, your body's got to grow. You know, you're a basketball player. You got to get as long as you can.
Good man.
Thinking I was going to be Wamba Yamba.
Okay.
You know? And so he was like, you know, we got to get you as tall as you can. So I
Yeah.
never hit the weights. And so finally I was like, you know, let me start working out. They brought me to this gym where a lot of my friends were like, I didn't know too many people. It was something new for me. So that was my anxiety my first time. Like, oh my gosh, like I got to meet people. And again, all these people they were athletes. These are top athletes in high school that they would go to, like to this gym and working out. So I had to talk to everybody, meet everybody little by little, and seeing them too in the gym and all how their life is and all that, hearing this party or hearing this or hearing how they are. I'm like, man, like that sounds good. You know, that life, right? That lifestyle. And
Yeah.
I got caught up again in that. Like I wanted one thing about me is I wouldn't say this God-given ability to do sports. Not at all. I'm
He was
not.
ranked 200 in the nation.
No.
And track.
No.
Yes, he was.
And I would say I'm not the fastest, even though I am fast. Still, there's bigger fish in the sea that are faster than me.
Shout out Duty.
Shout out Duty. No, DeCarlo, if you're watching this, shout out him, that guy. And not the strongest. So I had to work for it. I had to, again, when I was young, I was okay in sports. Again, I only had speed. Me and Duty were always together. Duty's an athlete. And I just had the little speed with him, so I'd be there with him.
Yeah.
You know, and that's all I had. I'm telling you right now, that's all I had. Like, I like how my trainer said it a while back. Like, it's raw chicken, and you just need a little seasoning, a little spice. You know,
Okay.
little spice. Like that was me, raw chicken, and I had no
Mhm.
seasoning, no spice. Like, you could work with me, but man, I was that raw chicken. Like, I was bad. But I had the work ethic. Because I am so hard on myself. I knew I wanted to be somewhere. And
Okay.
I knew I wanted to strive for that. I knew I needed to work hard in order to be like these athletes in the gym, in order to be where I needed to be. Because at first I wanted to be a professional basketball player. My dad played like overseas in Mexico when it first started. Like now it's big, but back then it was like just starting, and he played a little bit with professionals. So it was kind of a dream of mine. I was like, wow, like I could be there, but bigger. So I knew I wanted something active to do, and I wanted to be professional at that. And basketball, I feel like I still say it's my first love,
So
it's my first love, no girl.
that took you to the gym
Yeah.
to go work out.
So that mentality right there led me to go. I'm like, man, I got to be better.
You gotta be
gotta
better.
get
So you
bigger.
stuck to the gym,
Yeah.
and you were around people that you would hear like, "Oh, this is how I live
Yeah.
life. This is how I live life," right?
And
So
definitely,
then-
yeah.
so
Seeing my
then-
sister too, because my sister went to a public school. So
Yeah.
seeing her friends and all that, and I mean, I knew who they were. I was like,
Yeah.
oh man,
Yeah. So then,
gotta be cool.
where would you say it sucked you in?
I would say,
Like, do you have a time in your life where you're like, that was the domino. That
Yeah.
was the domino that
so
started it.
okay, just fast forward all that. The domino happened when I would say 18.
Okay.
I switched sport to track. I started doing track. I was like, oh, I think this is like my calling. And everything was lining up to it. That gym had a track team, and they're like, hey, you should try track. I was like, well, I don't run. I only run with a basketball in front of me. They're like, just try it. I ended up being good with it.
Yeah.
I was at least running next to those Alexander guys, track teams. They're like, okay, this kid can do something with it.
Yeah.
So they led me to do track. I started going to all the competitions, everything, you name it. That's where the history is. It was me being in track, and I did really well with it. I started getting the pivot happened when I would say 18, 19, when I was running in it, and that's where the anger for God happened, where I was seeing my friends that I'm training with, that I'm competing with, and I'm beating some of these guys. And even one time I went to a track meet, I beat 3 guys on scholarship. These are college athletes. I'm a high schooler, technically. I graduated early, but I was 17, 18 at the time.
Yeah.
And I'm young. These guys are like in their 20s, and they're signed athletes. Like, these are scholarship athletes. And I beat them. And all that started happening when I was seeing all my other friends and everybody get signed and doing things, and I'm over here, nothing's moving.
Like, that should be me.
Yeah.
Type
And
of.
nothing was getting done. Like, I would send these videos. I would talk to these coaches. Coaches were interested, but nothing would happen. And again, that's where I was like, that's how, if I'm beating these guys, where's mine?
Yeah.
Where's what I deserve? And that's where I feel like the anger started coming in, because I started questioning God. I started asking, why are these people getting it, but not me? I'm busting my butt. I'm not going still to parties. I'm not drinking. I'm not doing these. Even though, yes, I had these relationships and I had these people, I still wouldn't drink.
Yeah.
I still would, I would probably show up a couple times. I'm not going to lie. You see me at a party when I was younger. I did show up. Was I drinking? Was I getting drunk? No. I still had my limits.
Yeah.
Little by little, I noticed that God wasn't in my life a little bit. I wanted to be of this world. I wanted to be myself. I wanted to do things. I was stopping to acknowledge him. I wouldn't, like, before it was like, man, God, thank you. Now there's no more thanks. There's no more praying at night. There's no more praying in the day. There's no more talking to him. I'm just living my day now.
Yeah.
And that's where then I feel like it started less reading the Bible, less all that. So now that's where that anger's coming in, because I'm starting now to be disconnected from him. So that anger right there was building up, and it just finally took it. And I was like, wow, God, like, I'm over here playing by the rules and doing this and that, and I see a friend drinking and partying, and yet he's coming back now from college, and you gave him that. Or I'm like,
Yeah.
he has that. He wasted all that. But if I had that opportunity, I would have took it and run with it. So that's where I started questioning, and that's when I started saying, what, is God even real? Well, is God even in my life? Because I felt at that moment there was no movement. I felt, like how I said, disconnected, and I started feeling like God was not there. His presence was not there. And me being angry, it led me to question his authority, to question God.
His
His existence. I was saying why for everything, and I was pointing
Okay.
everything for him. So that was like my pivot of the word you said, the domino. That's where
Yeah. That was your domino.
that was my domino.
Seeing
right
other
there.
people get what you wanted.
Yeah.
Okay. So then after that, you continued with track.
Yes.
You continued with track,
Still had the dream.
but your
Chasing.
life took a turn,
Oh,
and you
Big turn.
started chasing the things of the world,
yeah.
right? And that was from 18 to 21?
Yes. So that's, yeah. As soon as the domino effect happened, like that,
Was it just party after party
it
after
was,
party?
yeah. Then now I
Started drinking.
yeah. So I would say, actually, I drank at 21. It was for my 21st birthday.
Don't lose not getting arrested. Don't worry.
No, I didn't drink before. Still, I was okay. But I was starting to chase women. I was starting to be like, man, I want this girl or this and that. And I want to go to parties and feeling that other feeling. It felt great at the time. Like being there at the party, socializing with all these people. I'm like, man, this is fun. Like I want to be out all the time. And I would say then 21 hit, started, that's where the beer came in. I'm like, oh, one won't hurt, right? And started going out. I had these other friends, still amazing people, by the way. Just don't hang out with them anymore. But we would like to go out all the time.
Yeah.
And that's where it led to now I can go into a club. So now we're clubbing. Now we're going to a cultural social bar. Shout out. No, I'm kidding. Don't shout out
Just
there.
give him a shout out. Just give him a free shout
No.
out.
But it was at the time I thought it was just so fun.
Yeah.
I was so into it, even going over there and just seeing all
Did it kind of suppress your anger, your moods?
Oh, it definitely did. Like for that meantime, like I said, it's just for that little bit. You go and it calms it for that moment. And then as soon as you leave there and as soon as you're done the next day or you wake up, you're like, whoa, like.
Mm-hmm. You'd say it makes you kind of forget about your troubles.
That's what it is. It just makes you forget in the moment.
Yeah.
It just makes
you think that's why people run to it?
I think people run to it because, yes, I started seeing a lot of... I like how you said that because it's something I've thought about and seeing how people act and see what people do. I think a lot they run to it just to forget in the moment of the things that they... like the problems they have. Yeah. Instead of running to God. Instead of correcting it, fixing it.
I've heard both ends. I remember asking a friend... I was like, why do you drink? What do you get out of it?
Why is it fun?
I wanted to know. I really wanted to know.
That's a good question.
wanted to understand. And she said...
Again, if you haven't seen episode 1 of Mao, doesn't drink. So this man barely drank Coke for his 21st birthday. He doesn't even drink Coke right now. Like... doesn't drink any.
She said that she
sorry, I
drinks
threw him off. I'm sorry.
Because... like it makes it a little fun. Yeah. Right? And I was like,
oh, I've heard that a lot. I've heard that a lot.
Funner.
Like,
and in my head, I'm like,
or they would say, we don't drink for the flavor.
We drink for the fun?
Like, or the taste.
Oh,
I'd
the
be
taste.
like, how do you like that? Oh, we're not drinking it because of the taste. You know, we're drinking
This is my take. It's not good for your health. The hangovers feel like garbage, so I've heard. And apparently it tastes like piss. Yeah. Or most of it tastes bad. Yeah. So
but again, it's not for the taste. It's not for the taste.
I was trying to understand. Like, then why do people do it, right? And it's from what I've seen, is that people run away from the issues that they have in the world. Yeah. Right. From what I've been told, it's that it lets you let loose, and it makes you have more fun.
But who's told you this? Them?
Drunks. No, I'm just kidding. They're not drunks. I'm kidding. But they just do drink. They just do drink.
Well, they're gonna tell you that because who's gonna go up to and say, "Oh, I'm running from this," or "I'm just struggling with this." True. You know,
I'm drinking because I'm running.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that. I'm not.
He is saying that.
Maybe I am. No, but I think a lot of people. Yes, you get again like you could just get into a fight with your significant other. And then there you go. You're like,
what?
Significant other. And then there you're going to go. You're going to go out and party. You know, with your friends, you're like, I'm going to go with the girls. Like, just need to relieve stress. Yeah. And that's where a lot of it causes, you know, it is easy to get because, again, this world, a lot of our friends, like, especially this age, you know, that's all they do. Mm-hmm. They want to just go out and party and have a good time.
Mm-hmm. I really hone on this a lot, and I see it because the high school people that I knew, high school people that I do know, they're stuck in high school. Yeah. Right? They are stuck in high school.
Preacher.
Like they never...
Get out of it. You're a grown man and woman.
It doesn't seem like their ambition is to go out and drink. Oh, like, let's go do this. Let's go do this. Like, go have a family. Go
Go get a kid.
get married.
Go find Jesus.
Achieve the best job you can.
Yeah.
Find the Lord. And
that's the thing. Like, why do you want to? That's what I was like. Why do you like staying stuck in? Why do you this is a problem, or that? Because afterwards you feel horrible, and sometimes you do some self-reflecting. You're like, what am I doing? But you still go and do it.
Yeah.
What causes you to be like, there's no change. Like, and I say it all the time, like, you're gonna be 30, 40-year-old, like 40-year-old, right? And now we're in the age of social media, so you have a bunch of pictures and all that partying. Your kid asks you, or when you have a kid, you're gonna look back and you'd be like, why did I do that? Like, are you gonna have regret? Because I'm saying, who wants to be remembered as all those doing those things,
And it also goes back to what people establish in their children, right? And it's like, enjoy your young years. You're never gonna get them back. Blah blah blah.
I hate it.
Right? And it's like,
I don't like it.
Your young years don't have to be enjoyed drinking. Your young years don't have to be enjoyed messing up your liver or doing this drug or doing this drug. Oh, I've tried it all. My lifestyle. I'm a wise because I've tried it all. I understand you gain wisdom like that, but
guys, do you want to party? Or you want to be a 22-year-old firefighter with your own house?
See, and don't
your own mortgage.
No, don't take it like that. Like, Mal, you don't know anything about it, right? Like, you've never lived it. I haven't, but you are getting both ends of the spectrum. You're getting the end that has never lived it, and you're getting the end that has lived it, right? And the difference is he didn't stay stuck in high school. He didn't stay stuck with that mindset of like, let's party gets me going. Like, there's more to life.
And it's funny that you said it, because even when I was in that phase, I still felt, that's what I'm saying, when I was self-reflecting, I still felt there's more to life than this. I still felt that. And I feel like, again, God is good. And that's the little of God telling, because I was like, God, I want nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
And God was here. He's here patiently,
Talking
and
at you,
and he's like, Jared, there is more for you.
Yeah.
And that's what I still felt like that. But again, pride gets the best of you. We're stubborn, and we want to go. We want to go have that moment. You see those women, and you see that partying, and you see going out, and you just want to have a good time. And that's what it was. It was stuck in having a good time. Like, I'm telling you, it started feeling like, again, people could say when you talk to an addict or anything, I'm going to just name drugs. They get into drugs because they love the feeling. But this could even be with just partying. Like, when I was partying or going out and clubbing, there's even times I would stay up to 3 or 4 a.m. and I had work at 8 a.m. And I would go to my office and I'm
crazy dog.
Just passed out.
Crazy dog.
And I still know people to this day. Like, I have some... Never mind. I know some people who still do that. I'm not going to target anything. But that's what I'm trying to say. It was just this rush, this high, you would say, that I had to go. Like, I need to do it again. Yeah. Man, this feels good.
Okay.
And instead of going to God because I wanted nothing to do with him, I'm going here because that's the little high I want. Okay. I didn't do drugs or anything, so it was like this was my drug. Yeah. I need to go out.
So you took that anger and you were like, you started kind of, why God, right?
Yeah.
Why am I gonna lean on God when I can lean on instant satisfaction from the world?
Oh yeah.
Right. And then, and you're a good looking dude, right? So it's harder.
They're laughing in the back. I heard the laughing in the back.
It's harder when you're when, like, as some would say, genetically gifted on your face.
Thank you, Mom and Dad.
Like, yes.
Yeah, Duty, I love you. I can't see you back here, but I love Duty. This group is all good looking. Anybody's good looking, but this group is.
Now, so you're a good looking dude, right? And it's easier.
I'm a good looking. No, I'm kidding. Tell me more.
Say it again. It's easier, because you have women that like look at you and they're like, man, this guy's good looking. So it's easier because they throw themselves at you.
It's the eyes, guys.
It's the eyes. I really think it's the eyes.
No, it's not that I'm a good looking guy, because I'm not.
He has green eyes.
It's green eyes. It's the green eyes.
No,
wow,
but
I've never seen green eyes before. Liar.
Liar. You just want to pass them on to your So that being said, it's like it's easier to fall into that because women throw themselves at you. I'm sure some men threw themselves at you too, right?
Oh no, I was just making a joke. No.
Like Frank.
Frank, my boyfriend. Wait, what? No, I'm kidding. My partner.
So then
workout partner.
So then I understand, right? It's harder it's harder because you get things so easily,
Yeah.
right? You get like, not that you didn't have to do anything, but it's kind of like, it's Jared, you know, he's tall, good looking, he's an athlete. What else do you want, right? You are living at the top of what a party life person
Yeah.
wants, right? And so then we run forward the years to where you came back to church.
Yeah.
So tell us, how was that? Who do you give thanks to out there?
I give thanks to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I want to take this time to thank my. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. So getting out of that was the.
Why
tough.
did you leave?
I left because, again, like how I said.
Like, why did you leave that party life? Why did you leave that area that you were like so
Caught up in.
intertwined in? You were
Entertained with. Yeah.
Also.
And yeah, it was. I knew there was more to life. I knew this wasn't Jared. This wasn't the Jared you knew back then. Like that younger kid that, again, had that fire for Christ. You know, I started feeling angrier. I started feeling just worse. And I started realizing, like, there's more to life. It's funny how it happened. It was, I was crying for help. I needed someone to talk to, and I couldn't do it. And I had Christian friends. Like, I have a couple of friends that to this day are with the church and they're good, and I couldn't reach out to them. Like, I knew I could easily just say, hey man, I'm just caught up. I'm going through this. But again, I couldn't do it. My pride couldn't let me do it. And it's so funny. God put me in the position again. So track stopped for me. It cut off. I got a hip injury. Would go to the doctor, give me steroid pack. They would give me injections. I would do rehab for 6-7 months. Nothing was working. Coincidence now, because now I don't feel it. I'm like, there's no coincidence, but I'm like, that's God telling me, like, you know, you got to stop. You know, he doesn't want me there now that I look at it. And that injury caused me to just plummet more because track was taken away now. The sport I loved.
Yeah. What you were kind of hanging on to.
Yeah. The most. Because I was like, this is what I'm going to do for my life.
Yeah.
And this is what I graduated high school early because I was training. And I'm telling you, I was doing 3 days all the time. Okay. Like, I had no job. Nothing. Like, it was devoted to training.
So then it got taken away. And then what happened there?
And that's where all the depression hit. The partying got better. I mean, louder, not better. Got crazier. And I had where I was like, I need to do something with my life, right? And IT comes into the play now. So, of course, me being just driven, like dedicated, I was like, I got to be good at this. I got a certification. One of my friends, my buddies, his stepdad was one of the heads at TAMU, who was my boss at the time. He was like, hey, my dad does this at IT at TAMU. You know, you want to apply? Like, I see that you're into this and you want to do this. And I was like, dude, yes. Submitted it, and fast forward, got in. I'm in here, and I met amazing people I needed to meet. I was still in the party phase and all that. And so happens, shout out Ms. Valentina behind me, I met actually Vale. They're working. She's one of our student workers. So she, from the land of Colombian.
You know, they don't have airports over there?
They don't have airports, guys.
That's crazy,
we barely
right?
found that out. Like, Violet comes every day. She swims. Not every day. No, when she goes back home, she has to go on a boat.
Yeah.
From the U.S.
Crazy
to
info
Colombia.
from Kaylee. Thank you, Kaylee.
Yeah. Kaylee, thank you for informing us on that.
They don't have
airports.
airports.
That was
That's
much needed.
Crazy.
I hope you all get an airport soon, Vale.
Yeah, hopefully.
So you don't have to be on boat anymore. No, I'm kidding. They have airports, guys.
They do.
But yes, she was one of our student worker techs that I was working for. I'm a tech, and told you all that. It was crazy. I knew who she was because our close friend G, shout out G, we knew who each other were. We'd say hi and everything. And just one night, I was studying for this other certification I needed to get, or I wanted to get for my career. So I would always go to TAMU, right? And turns out Vale was working that night shift. Again, there's no coincidence. No coincidences. And I saw she had a "What Would Jesus Do" bracelet. And so that's where the question asked, I'm like, oh, are you Christian or do you believe in God? She was like, yes, I'm Christian. And from that night, it just talked, and Vale asked me, oh, are you? And I just kind of was straight up with her. I was like, I am, but there's things in my life that I'm upset with about God. Like, I was like, I know who he is. And I would say, at the time I said I loved him, but there's just things in my life, which again, I was angry. I was upset. So Vale actually asked some real great questions. She was trying to get to know, was trying to get to know, we're trying to get to know why. And that conversation ended up, like, we closed the shift, like we closed at 10 p.m. right at night. We ended up talking the whole way, and that was the person I didn't know. That was my cry for help. Like, out of everybody I knew and all that, like, it was to this girl that I really didn't know much about, and it was that whole conversation. And we ended up closing out, but we stayed even past that. Like, I think it was 1 or 2 in the morning. I can't remember about it, but it was late. And I was just telling her, and I was just pouring it out. And I was just saying, hey, like, I want to know Christ more, but this is all that's kind of going through my life. Like, there's so much. And God really used her at that moment. Like, he knew, lined it up perfectly. And he was like, Vale, like, to help me. And Vale, there she goes. And she's like, we can do a Bible study, And she goes, maybe you can come to church, right? And I was like, I don't know about church. I was like, I don't know about that one. I don't want to go back to church. I don't want to, right? I was on no church. But I was like, you know what? I'll do a study. And so sure enough, it was that weekend, Saturday. We went to the pond. Famous location. Never mind, it's not a location we go to. Guys, get away from the pond. But you just her face. I was like, like even some secret location. No, well, we're at the pond. If you want to talk about Jesus, we're there. Me, Turi, and
not me.
Mal
they don't invite
never
me.
goes to
They
the
don't
pond.
invite me.
Oh,
I've never.
He acts like he needs an invite.
I do.
That's another. Whatever. Mal is more than welcome to come. Does he choose to come? No, because he's always with.
Because I don't know they're there.
Lala, have you seen this? She's back there.
No, I don't know they're there.
Out from us.
I don't know they're there. They don't tell me they're there.
Well, anyways, so
now let's talk about it. Like, that's messed up that my friends will never invite. No, just
no. Let's do a poll. We'll do a poll.
We'll do a poll, guys.
Do you think it's messed up or not?
Yes.
Yes. And so we ended up going there to the pond, and that's where open up the Bible again. I kid you not, I don't think I remember opening the. It's been a long time, and we ended up just talking more and talking about Christ. And I remember afterwards, I called my mom and I was like, "Hey, like, it went really well, and I felt good."
So you told her?
Yeah, I told my mom, and my mom was happy about it. And she was like, "I was like, Vale's telling me to go to church with her. It's tomorrow." Vale was like, "Your own time." She was like, "If you want to, I'm going tomorrow." And I told my mom, she's like, "You know what, Jared, it doesn't hurt. Just go once." And I was like, "You know what? Something just told me do it." I ended up going that Sunday, and turns out that's where I ran into Turi over
Reconnected.
here.
Come here. Toots.
I reconnect. Dude, come in the frame.
Come here. Just say hi.
Turi's gonna get an
Just
episode soon.
He's
Come on,
next
Turi.
episode, guys.
He doesn't want to, but I'm telling you, he's gonna come next episode. Episode 3, Turi. So, shout out to Turi, man. Golly, great man. And I had not seen Turi in 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a long time. And I remember I was just with Vale and them talking, and I see Turi come up to me and he's like, "Hey, man." And I'm like, "Yo," like, so I was like, no way, like it's a ghost, right? I was like, no way. And because me and Turi, to sum it up, we were very close. And then, well, not very close.
Stop giving too much away.
Sorry.
He's here next episode.
Oh yeah. Next episode.
Yeah,
but
next episode.
elementary, we were together.
Turi and him were really close.
We were really close in elementary. And then after that, we just did our own thing. So to see him again, even after like for 4 years, was crazy to me. And, I ended up, Vale had to go back home for the summer. Oh, no, she went to Florida with her host family. She'll get an episode soon, guys, too. But, yeah, so she had to go there. So, but everyone.
She's going to be her neck.
But, so Vale, how do you, again, guys,
Vale
is 6'7". It's crazy. It's crazy. If you hear in the background laughing, I'm going to have Rick.
That's a 6'7" girl laughing.
So, yeah, I'm going to have to make the camera just...
Yeah. 2 cameras, one pointing up.
One pointing up.
Okay, and then?
But she had to go back home. So it was kind of hard because I started going to the little gatherings that they had. And that's where I met TD. Shout out TD. Love that man. He's really great at just connecting with people. Yeah. And he had a background of IT too. So we kind of just kicked it off there. And, he was kind of saying, to get me going. Yeah. But again, I was kind of scared because I was like, oh, Vale's going back home, right? But again, at that moment...
That's crazy.
Why?
Because when I met TD, I was firefighting. He told me he had a background in firefighting. Maybe that's just a thing he says.
Wow, that's
I'm
crazy.
just
'Cause he told Duty that he had a background in YouTube.
Yeah,
Like,
that's weird.
imagine, that's
TD
crazy.
is there.
That's
No,
crazy.
I'm just
TD
kidding.
had a lot of explaining to do. TD. I don't know what. Yeah, TD's done it all. Actually,
You're right.
Little
He's
to
good at
know that
connecting with people.
little to know that he's been in firefighter IT. You know? No, but and I just realized I was like, you know what? I wasn't doing it for her or anything, so I'm not gonna lean on to anybody. Like, this is for me.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm seeking Christ now. Like I'm seeking these answers that I have questions to and all this. And again, I felt like I started over. I felt like a baby Christian, like don't know where to go. And I started going to all these gatherings, and that's where Duty started being here to the gatherings. And you know, that's why I knew who Duty was. So I would tell him, oh, I'm hanging out with TD here at Chipotle or something. And Duty would actually hang out with you, right? He'd be like, oh, I'm meeting with my buddy's family. It was at Cinco and all that. And Duty actually would come afterwards and hang out. So it was those times that I started getting comfortable. I started going to a study every Tuesday. Still didn't know anybody, but I made an effort. Started little by little, like opening up, learning more, because again, I was now seeking Christ. And it was hard because I knew no one. And I was scared too, because again, like, so this is a church that I was when I was little, and I was like, man, is there going to be people that know me, who I am, or what are they going to say? Because again, like some of them knew kind of how I was. So I was like kind of scared, like they're going to judge, you know, which we should never judge, but
No, you should. Righteously. Righteous judgment.
But again,
People get that wrong. Right?
okay,
It's
you know
like
what? That's good that you brought it up.
people
That's
get
good.
that
I'm glad
wrong.
you brought it up.
It's not you should never judge. It's judge righteously.
Yeah, you should never judge at all. No, I'm kidding.
And they get that twist of like
Yeah.
you're a Christian where you're judging only God could judge. It's
Gotta hold
you
them
know,
accountable.
Jesus taught us how to judge.
Uh-huh.
So just a little
Again, Paul
Note
too.
take.
Paul didn't judge.
hey,
Hold
just
you
a
accountable.
note take for you guys.
I'll
Judge righteously.
I'll get that in a reel.
And
So, and little by little, I started noticing that these people, they're kind of like me. They have past. Some are worse than even mine.
Yeah.
And to see them that they were devoted in Christ, and to see them on fire with God, I was like, okay, I'm not so different. I'm not, because, you know, we have these walks that God saved us from. And that's where now started going there more, to sum it up, started going more to the gatherings. And then boom, I met Mao. And I thought Mao was this cocky guy. I was like, there could be only one good looking guy here. No, I'm kidding. No, but I thought Mao wasn't humble. And I met him playing Frisbee. I'd play ultimate Frisbee with the guys. And that's where I met Mao. And I was like, this guy thinks he's cool, huh? But turns out Mao, we didn't talk too much, but seeing how he was, I was like, nah, this guy is so humble. I'm like, I hate it. I hate that he's so humble. And I think, again, I was supposed to train with Duty, and then that's when Mao and Rick showed up, and that's the first hangout I ever had with Mao. Shout out Mao, because he actually bought me Applebee's. I was tight on money.
Oh
at the
yeah,
time.
like I was like, I'm not gonna.
I can't afford it.
I didn't ask you if you had money or
Mao was
not.
like, I'm a firefighter.
I asked you what you wanted.
and the rest is history from there. And that's where everything started changing. That's where now God put this amazing group, these amazing godly men that were being there for me, and women that were truly just, I was hearing their stories, and I was hearing how y'all were, and seeing that drove me more to being like, wow, I'm nothing. Like, what I did was just wrong, and I need to be with Christ. And that led me, I'm sorry, hold on. Am I boring you, Rick? Rick is falling asleep. Guys, am I boring? I'm kidding. I love Rick. Rick's probably tired.
Yeah, what you guys gotta know, Rick probably went to sleep at 5 a.m., woke up at 7.
Yeah. No, shout out to Rick. Rick helps me out so much in this podcast. So thank you, Rick. Like, no, yeah. Clap. That's a clap. That's my little.
That's the button.
No, Rick is just, I love you, Rick. I love you. Just really great. And
So then
Yeah. So
you
I
got
think
introduced to us.
so that's it. Thank you guys.
That was kind of it. Now we're here. We're
Yeah.
here, and I've seen your growth. Obviously, when you first came into the
Mhm.
group, I saw, and you opened up. I saw who you were.
Yeah.
I saw some of the struggles you were dealing with.
Yeah.
Right? And it's been recently where I've really noticed a drastic change. Right, where you're really doing stuff for yourself.
Yeah.
You're not doing it for anybody else. You're not doing it to fit in with us. Like if
And that's what
I'm
I want people to
convinced.
know that.
yeah,
Like you need to do it for you. Can't be for anybody. It can't be you chasing God is for you.
yeah.
Nobody else can save you. Nothing you can do to be like, oh, I gotta be.
We have a live audience.
We do have a live audience that was supposed to shush.
So I've seen you. Like I'm convinced now that if we weren't in this,
Yeah.
like if me, Turi, Vale, Lala, Rick, if we weren't in this, you'd still chase God.
Yes.
Right? That I'm convinced of because I've seen your.
And it makes me start to think about it. Sometimes I'm like, God, I'm like, thank you for bringing these wonderful people in my life, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what if just our
'Cause-
paths weren't aligned, what if like I just knew who you guys were from Grace and that was it, just to check up here and there. I would still be with Christ. I probably still would be with other probably group of friends and people I'd hang out with.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't, again, like how you said, it wasn't because of y'all or seeing you guys, because how you are very in tune with God and you are chasing God and you're a godly man. Yes, I want to strive for that. But again, I'm not striving, to be like y'all, to be like Jesus Christ.
It's okay. I try to be too. I fail consistently.
There's only been 2 perfect people. No, I'm kidding. Only one, Jesus Christ.
But that's good. That's I think that kind of comes to a bow tie of your story,
Yeah.
right? Of how you got here where you're at now
Mm-hmm.
on your walk with Christ. So from the world and from your experience living in the world, from your experience living in Christ, what's overrated that people still do in the world?
Wow. Dang, that's a great question.
What's overrated? You look at somebody doing it and you're like,
Man, I know I've kind of thought about this, maybe not fully, but yes, because there's times that I'm like, why do people still do this? Like, why are they still
yeah,
doing that? I think it's, man, I'll just be straightforward because I'm gonna look back at this and I'm gonna be like, why? Like I could have said this. I know
Yeah.
I know I'm gonna look back at this and I'm gonna be like,
yeah.
man, there's something
Guys,
I could have said.
the amount of time it takes us to post videos like this because Jared is like, I could have done this. I could have done this. It's gonna be one of those times.
Oh.
Clip this.
Guys, I'm telling you, I'm too much of a perfectionist.
Look, I'll go first,
Okay.
and this is
That would help.
and this is a really controversial one.
Yes. Here comes the real.
No.
Nah.
Here's a clickbait.
Here's the clickbait.
Overrated, and because I can't say I'm innocent from it, right?
Yeah.
The want or the lust for the opposite gender. I think it's
I was
very overrated.
Just gonna say. No,
You took the words right out of
Dude, you
my
took it
mouth.
right out of my mouth.
I think it's overrated because when you put it into perspective, and you're like in the moment, you're like, oh man,
That's a
feels
good
good. That feels good. Blah blah blah. But then you put it into perspective, and it's like, this is someone's wife. This is God's creation. What am I doing with There's a very, very, very temporary satisfaction because you're going to crave it more. And what are you craving? You're not craving intimacy.
Yeah.
Because that's not intimacy. You're not craving that intimacy. You're craving that satisfaction of I pleased myself.
Yeah.
And
So-
I think that's one of the more overrated ones, but it's probably one of the most looked at. And in scripture, it is one of the most common and, one of the most common sins or temptations that people fall to, right? But I do think if you step back and look at it, it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna say I'm innocent from this, but it's just
that's a good one. Man.
it's just what don't,
because a lot of guys struggle with that.
it should,
A lot of us
yeah,
men do.
they do, and it's like it should be more sacred than what we make it out to be.
Yes, it should.
So that's my take on
Mhm.
what I think people live in right now. They
Yeah.
live in constant sexual lust and it's like it's very overrated
Mm-hmm.
for the very short amount of pleasing that it gives you.
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
overrated.
And I want people to dissect that, because hearing that right now, I know a lot of people can be like, come on, man. Like,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
you can't just say that,
Yeah.
because having that desire, it's strong.
It is.
Like being lustful for women, or having
It
that satisfaction when you get after you do something with them or anything, like, yeah, like, you know, that feeling,
Yeah.
it's, yes, it is great. But again, like how you're saying it shouldn't be like that. It should have never been done like that, you know?
Yeah, like I am saying, like, I'm not saying at all that it's easy.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that moment of satisfaction, that moment of guarantee, those 10 seconds that you're like, yeah,
Yeah.
is very
Yeah.
overrated.
It is.
It's very, very overrated.
Yeah.
And people live in it. People
Yes.
indulge in it to an unprecedented amount,
Yeah.
which they shouldn't. Right?
Again, I think it's the high, like how I was explaining. It's that you focus on wanting. Don't worry about the time. Okay, it's
Sorry, we're ending
hour
it
11
in
minutes.
an hour flat. An hour and 10?
Why does it feel like longer or shorter or what?
I thought it was longer.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Do I talk that much?
Yeah.
You don't shut up. No, but dude, you lost my train of
No.
thought.
I'll regain your train of thought.
Huh?
I'll regain. You were saying that. So we were talking about the overrated feeling.
Oh yes. Oh.
Overrated feeling of your 10 seconds, and people indulge in it.
Yes, it is overrated, because we, again, how I was saying the high and everything.
Mhm.
We chasing after that of the world, and me who was in that, I was chasing because I wasn't with God. I was finding something. Again,
Yeah.
that's why when people, you've heard it before, but people said no money, no cars, no women could ever help you feel that desire.
Yeah.
Could help you cover that hole, as you would say, right in your heart, right? It's only Jesus Christ that could save you, that could rescue you. And I think
This is my
a lot of
view,
people don't know
guys.
that.
I'm staring at 30.
That is Tootie.
That is 30 for next
Great
episode.
looking guy right there.
Look at that perfect jawline.
Hey, shout out to Tootie. You're going to look back at this. He's in the academy. We're going to look back at this 2 years, and he's going to be a firefighter.
Oh, yeah. Maybe he might have hair.
So
Next time he
yeah,
looks
next
at
time he's bald. The next episode too, he's gonna be bald.
This is true.
Bald.
So what's yours? What do you think is an
So
overrated thing
That helped me realize that overrated is we're a lot of people pleasers. We overrating as we try to please so much of this world that it doesn't even matter. Like even being like people, I think of the world, like pleasing the world so much. So that means
like, hey, come party with me. All right, I'll please the world.
Well, exactly.
Or
Like
what do you mean?
or hey, let's go get this satisfaction, right? Or let's go mess with these girls, right? Okay. Or man, I don't really feel it, but or even when they're like, come on, man, let's go out, let's go party or let's drink. No, I don't. But man, what are they gonna think? Are they gonna invite me still? Or you're gonna please. You're gonna please. You're trying to please. You're a people pleaser, right?
Yeah.
And that's why now I see is I'm not a people pleaser, right? I'm a God pleaser. And I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of people are so caught up in this world that you please your boss, that you please people at work, your coworkers, that girl that you like, that man that you like.
Yeah.
You know, you're trying to please. You're focused on them, so you're gonna do everything you can.
Good.
That's how I was when I was in those relationships.
That's good.
I was pleasing them.
I think to word it differently.
Yeah, please help me
Put
word
it
it
into
because my English is
perspective.
bad,
No.
guys.
You're good. I understood, but I think to put it more into relation, it's like it's overrated to worry so much about
did I
what
say?
people.
Were we saying underrated or
No,
over?
overrated.
Okay. I was
No,
like,
you said the right thing. But it's overrated to worry so much about what people think about you.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I have Mao, guys.
Because people do get man, what are they gonna think? Are they gonna invite me? Or are they gonna?
I'm sorry. It's because I keep looking down if that's the camera. If you see my eyes go down here,
He's trying to look at you.
I'm trying to
beautiful
look
people.
at you. So if you see me like looking like that, I'm trying to look at you.
Yeah, I think it's very overrated on what people think about you, and I I've had my fair share of situations, and
Yeah.
I really preach this to my group. It's like the people close to me
Mhm.
know who I am, right? The people close to me know the truth about stories, and the people
Yeah.
close to me know this and this and that, right? What other people think isn't like, if it interrupts my ability to preach God, sure,
Yeah.
right? I will defend it. I will die on that hill. But the people and people really get like, man, what are they gonna think? What are they gonna think? I learned to not get like that because I understand that my group knows who I am. The people close to me know who I am, and that's really like, for me, that's all that matters. Because as much as I would love to continue, like I love to preach in Laredo, right? Like
Yeah.
I love to meet people and tell them about Christ, right? But I understand that this isn't the only place where I'm gonna be called to do that.
Yeah.
So, this person thinks you're this way.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And it's crazy you said that because I'm gonna bring it up, Lala. You know, when we were at Cinco a couple of days ago, you know, we were talking. We all had this debate, and
Oh yeah.
you know, with Lala got a little heated. We'll say.
Got very heated, actually.
But at the end, and it was towards me.
She
It
was
was
like
about
this.
me. Yeah, finger in my
Let me
face. I was
speak.
like in a 3D movie. That's so much better, Rick. Oh dang, that was so loud. That's so much better. I know it's because I keep looking over here, dude. I know I'm gonna look at the video and be like, why was I looking over here? We gotta fix that.
Okay, so then?
Oh yeah, so it was towards me. It was something about me that we were talking about my past. You know, of the guy who I was there. And to be honest, the old me would have handled it a little bit different. I would have been a little bit upset. I would have said a lot of things, maybe straightforward, but
This story from my point of view is cool. It's a cool story.
I held it together. I would say. I took it and I told Lala, like when she was explaining, I was like, come on, like tell me, you know, be straight up. And I heard it all. I disagreed with a lot of it because I was my old self. And again, Lala called me that night to apologize. Takes a lot for someone to apologize no matter what. So thank you, Lala. I did apologize too if I did anything, which I probably did. But yeah, you'll never. You,
Not you.
It's all Lala's
Not
fault.
you, my
Lala's
precious.
fault. It's your fault, Lala. No, I'm kidding. But you know, even in that phone call, she was telling me she was looking at what the old Jared. You know, it was that old Jared. And she was like, but to see your growth now, to see the person you are now, she goes, to see that it's different. Like, she's like, I can't judge that anymore. Or not judge that, but I can't bring that up because you're not that person anymore.
Yeah.
And it's true. Like, it kind of made me reflect and made me think, like, you know, I held it together because it's kind of like what you were saying right now. I was like, you know what? I know who I am. I know I'm not that guy that she's bringing up anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not him. Like, I know where I'm at. I know who I believe in. I know who I want to be, who I am. And she's bringing up this person that is not there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So to see that she apologized after that and to bring that up, that she saw that she was like, I'm bringing up somebody that's no longer there, you know.
Yeah.
And she was saying how she see my walk has completely been amazing, right? And to me, sometimes I'm really hard on myself. So I feel like, yes, I'm completely different, but there's still so much I need to work on. And I think we all could agree on that, right? There's even how Mao is on his journey, right? He's, I would say, a great godly man, but there's some things that I know you still are like, man, I got to work on this.
100%. There's a bunch, like everybody. I don't care if you're preaching on a pulpit. I don't care if you're
I don't know what?
Pulpit.
What's that?
No way.
A puppet? Man, no, people are going to be like, dude, this guy's so stupid, right? I never said that. But what is that? What is that? A what?
Anyways, guys. No, it's the
What is
stand where people, it's not an altar, it's where you
Dude's
put,
explaining it to me.
yeah, we have Turi doing
What? Charades. One word. Two word. Nah.
Two words.
Two words. Pole.
pit.
So it's like a wait.
It's where you put your book. You know where you put your book?
Okay, on there.
So in different
Who's talking
areas,
behind there?
Me.
in different areas, like different buildings, the pulpit will actually, you could actually go into it and you put your book there.
Really?
Yeah,
Dude, I've never heard this. This is crazy.
that is crazy.
Rick, put the picture here. No, I'm kidding. It's gonna be me, and I'm not gonna know how to do it. It's gonna be me editing, and I don't know how to do it.
So I don't care if you're behind a pulpit. I don't care. I don't care of your knowledge with Christ, right?
That's a big word, pulpit. Pulpit.
Everybody has something they're going through.
Yeah.
Even now, like the knowledge that I have is a lot. Sometimes I wish I didn't have that much knowledge. Right.
Why? Why is that?
Because the more I know, like the more I'm like, man, then what about this? And what about this? And then I'm going back and forth trying to learn everything because I learn one thing and it causes me to like, oh, you need to learn this now.
So what would you say to people that are going to be learning more, want to learn more? Like,
keep learning. It doesn't get easier. Keep learning.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't get easier. But it doesn't matter who you are, where you are in life. You're always going to have that struggle, right? So to kind of start closing it, what would be, because
we're closing?
You come.
Did you say close?
Yeah, we're closing.
Wow.
What are you at?
Now we're at an hour 20.
Oh, never mind, guys. Well, tune in next episode. It'll be
we have a live performance with my outro. Go, Lala. No, Lala, me. Okay.
All right. So the final question for you is because
final.
I think your story. I think
now,
your
now
story.
I know how, wait, I'm sorry. Now I know how you feel.
Because you
can
keep going,
yeah,
right?
you can keep going on this.
Yeah.
We'll have a second. No, I'm kidding. We won't have a second episode.
I think your story could relate to a lot of people. I think your story could teach a lot of people.
I hope.
Right?
I hope.
I think your testimony is really well fitted with what the world is right now.
Yeah.
Right. So what is something different that they could do in their life, or what is something that you would kind of encourage to take that step on? Because you're right. We do please people. We do, man, what about this? Like, what if they don't invite me anymore? Like, that really doesn't matter in eternity, right? To the world, it might matter, but do you want to say, you know what, I live my life partying, or you know what? Before you answer the question, it's just going to be like this, right? And we've heard it all here in the group. If there is, like, if Christianity is fake, then I die living a happy life. Yeah. Living a life that, like, I don't regret. I don't regret my life. I don't regret the thing, like, spending so much time on people, working on people, teaching them about God. If it wasn't real, I'm not going to regret that. I had a peaceful life. I had a life that, like, you know what? Thank God I had this life, even if that belief was false, right? But if it is real, and it is, and we all die at the end, and they're standing in front of God in that judgment,
that was
what, like, I have nothing to lose if it's not real. Yeah. What did those people have to lose, right? So I think this is your opportunity, like, from being on that side of the field.
I like that perspective, and I also like a perspective that Felix, shout out Felix if he's listening.
Stop shouting people out.
I like shouting out. It's fun. Shout out. And he had this. He mentioned it in one of the Bible studies, and he was saying that how he felt, whatever he was going through. Right? He said if he was to die, right? And I think maybe he got it from someone else.
Oh, I like the story.
So if it's from someone else, shout out you.
Yes.
Shout out you.
Yeah. Shout out Felix.
But Felix brought it up.
Yes.
So it was saying if you pass, and God's like, come here, you know, like, let's take a look at your life.
Teach you.
Right?
Let me see.
Let's look at your life. So he plays that replay of your life, and you're looking there, and you're confused. You're like, that's not me. And God's like,
that's who you could have been.
That's who you could have been.
That's who I wanted you to be.
Exactly. And God's showing you your life that you could have had, that you were destined to have. But again, your free will, and you chose to go that other way, and you replay that other plane, and that was your life. And you're kind of sitting there, and you're going to be like, wow, I just basically wasted my life.
Yeah. So what is something you would tell them, like, for the people that are on the edge, or for the people that aren't even thinking about Christ?
I think for those people, this is me. Well, not me, but this is for y'all. I think you need to really evaluate, and you need to to do some self-reflecting about who the person you are, and you need to see what you are doing.
Mm-hmm.
You need to stop being caught up in whatever you're caught up in, any addiction you're caught up in, or anything of this world that you're chasing after. You need to look back and you need to be like, what am I doing? What am I chasing? Because that's what I had to do. I had to be like, again, there's more to life than just this, because I was caught up in this. And you're just tunnel vision into it. And you need to make a bigger like perspective on everything. You need to say, what am I doing? And if you've been feeling that God is calling you, or you've been in doubts about your faith, or you're like, you're having these questions or answers, like, do not be afraid to seek those answers and seek them for you. Yeah. Don't be shy asking those questions, even if it doesn't lead you to Christ, or even if you you asked all these questions that you had and you're like, I still can't follow, right? Still go ask those questions, still find that, because I can't see anybody just at the end of your life, right? And you never went to go like ask who's God or why God or this and that, right? I think you really need to chase those questions that you have. And that's where how it helped me. It made me be more aware of, now this is the world. I'm following the world. I'm following what the enemy is coming over here to destroy, to take out anybody he can away from God, or even ourselves, right? That we get caught up in the free will that God has allowed us to have, right? And we get so caught up in it that instead of praising God, we're praising all these other things, all these materialistic things. Again, you can't have two masters, right? So I think for those, you need to just, I know people have these questions. I know it's come up where you're just self-reflecting, you're thinking. So I really want you to follow those answers. Like, know your knowledge, like how you said, like knowledge, again, they always say knowledge is power, right? Like
Duty would disagree.
Well, yeah, Duty would disagree. That's on episode 3, why Duty would disagree. But that's a saying you've always heard. And I want you to apply, to go seek those answers. I want you to go and just do something new for yourself. And to me, I was scared to do it, and I was scared to cry out. So it's not just that. Just go talk to anybody that you can, especially if you know who I am, if you know who Mao is, if you know anybody in this group, talk to them about it and reach out. I think we are too closed up that we're like, that's how I was, where I was like, man, I need help, but I can't do it. Especially being a man and you have to swallow your pride, because you're kind of like, I can't tell anybody what I'm going through. And especially in the Mexican heritage, right? Your dads or your tios are always like, you're a man, get over it. Like, here's a beer and let's talk about something else. Talk about.
I thought you were white.
Grandma Nicole, shout out Grandma Nicole. She's the reason
that I agree.
But yes, I think I just want people to be better at not following, but seeking their questions that they have about their faith and about who God is. Yeah. I think it's for those people that are of this world, that are caught up into it, because you are, and you need to really reflect. I'm probably going in a circle saying it again, but I really want you to reflect, and I really want you to chase after that, because Jesus Christ is the only way. Yeah. And no one else is going to save you. Again, that car, that money that you went after, you're not taking it anywhere.
Hey, you're gonna have friends, and you're gonna be like, but what about my friends? What about, I love my friends. I love those people. Mm-hmm. Try to bring them with you. Yeah. But, if you want to chase that life, you want to chase God, there's going to be sacrifices that will be made.
And I hope right now, us speaking this is planting that seed in your head, right? Like that's all we can do. We can just tell you and help you and hopefully answer the questions that you might have. But if this is you, where you're feeling this, where you're like, wow, I'm similar to Jared, or I was with how Jared is, and you want to change of thought, you want to change your perspective, which I encourage Jesus Christ, right? Your faith and everything, to be a Christian, to be a follower of Christ. Go seek it. Go find it. Go search all those whys that you had. turn it around and point it to you, instead of God. You got to self-reflect tons.
Nice.
I kind of hope that was kind of what y'all needed to
I'm
hear.
sure it is. I'm sure it is. I'm sure the Lord spoke through.
Especially with my English, because my English is bad, guys. I know. But
So that's gonna wrap up this one. Y'all want another episode of Jared? Let us know.
No, we'll have other guests. I'm saying guest 3 is Duty. Hopefully it doesn't change, but it is. So keep an eye out for that one.
So that's gonna wrap it up for this episode. I hope it spoke to y'all.
I got a lot of editing to do.
I hope it spoke to y'all that Jared's story is similar to a lot of the world's. So I hope you could reflect. I hope you could relate, and I hope you could seek answers. If it's from me, from Duty, from Jared, from anybody that that might have that connection with God, go seek answers. And like we always do, like we will always do, we're gonna close it off with a little prayer. So if you wanna join us in prayer. If you don't, you can close it. But if
don't you dare close that.
If you want to join us in prayer,
Duty,
we're just gonna pray a little bit.
Don't close it.
No, Duty's putting in finger gun. So we're gonna close it off.
So Mao, you're gonna pray?
You want to pray?
No, I love Mao's prayers. Mao, you can pray.
Okay, sounds good. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you humbly, and we just ask you that you allow us to see our hearts for what they are, and to just start taking things out that we don't need in there. That you start opening the doors that are just keeping us shut to the idea of you. That you start just unlocking those doors and letting those memories out, and that we may give them to you, Lord. I thank you for everybody that listened into the podcast, and I thank you for everybody that stayed here with us. I pray over their lives, and that you hold them up to just be the people that you need them to be, to glorify your kingdom, that they may find their purpose in you, and that they may find their strength in you as well. God, I thank you for everything you do in our lives, and I thank you for the things that you keep away from us to just help us and aid us in our walk and path with you. I appreciate everything you do, and I glorify you in your name, and I hope this podcast will glorify you, and just you be the foundation of this podcast, that anybody that comes through, that watches or that sits here as a guest, that they know that this is about you. At the end of all this, nothing in this world matters but you. I pray all these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank y'all for listening.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening. See you on the next one.
My computer's updating. And my Lawson is still 9th.
Yeah.
My back is sore.